Hey, it's Mark Ferguson, and I'm back with another real estate video. Today we're talking about the store, the liquor store, the mini mart I bought about 2 months ago now. We've had it open about 6 weeks, so far it's been a really cool and fun experience, and we'll talk about a lot of that. We'll show you some updates to the store and some of the decisions we've had to make about where to spend money as well. We got a new POS system, so we'll talk about that too, and overall just a lot of cool and interesting stuff I'm learning about running an actual store that I can use on this store and possibly on other businesses as well. And in fact, we have another one under contract that I might talk about a little bit as well that's pretty exciting and crazy and kind of changes a lot of different dynamics in what I'm doing on some of my other properties. So of course we love it when you like, comment, share these videos. If you want to hit that like button right now, that's awesome. And we have tons of information on investormore.com, my blog. Free book on there, free articles as well. So love it if you check that out too. And we have a lot going on real estate wise. Have another flip under contract. Like I said, another interesting property and business under contract. Flips we're selling, rental properties we're buying, a rental we're selling. So all kinds of stuff going on. So we'll have lots of videos and updates on those as well coming up here soon. Okay, so the store I bought in January, and it came up for sale as a building that also included the businesses with it. It was a 7,000 square foot building in a small town here in northern Colorado in Pierce. And it was, I think I paid $605,000 for it. It had been listed for much higher, slowly come down. And right now we have the whole place rented for something like, I think it's $5,000 a month, in that range. So the building itself now is worth more than I paid for the building and all the businesses combined. And then the businesses have their own value as well, which is kind of cool because I separated those to make them more valuable, easier to sell if I ever want to do that in the future. So we'll look at some of those numbers and kind of how that value's increased, and something I love to do with real estate, and some of the changes we've made as well. So right now I'll just kind of show you some real quick videos of updates, things happening, things going on in the store. This is our Clover system, and it's all set up, but we're not using it yet because we want to get all of our inventory in there. So we're trying to figure out the right scanner to do that easily. That can be a little tricky, but it should be a much better system. This is our spot here where we might put more coolers. It turns out Pepsi actually owns that big cooler on the right that I'm not showing, but we talked to them. They will give us coolers for free. If we put their stuff in it, we can fill one with Gatorade, give us free Gatorade, fill one with water, but we have to have a certain percentage of the coolers full of Pepsi stuff. So you can see we have lots more inventory, but still room to put things in. And that's Pepsi's machine there too. They're going to try and give us a new one of those. So that's been a surprise how much stuff they'll give us and help us out once we actually talk to them. But our prices are way too low. We need to change those. That's what the prices were before. So we will work on that. We also got more free stuff. The liquor distributor or vendor gave us lots of free signs. So I thought we'd have to buy these, but they just said, no, we'll hook you up. And they gave us all kinds of cool free signs. We're still adding inventory, but working on that. And we have outside signs as well now, the Voodoo Ranger sign, and these little billboards here too. So all kinds of free stuff. And then, yes, more beer, trying to keep stocked. More signs outside. And randomly, while we were there, I'm not there that often, maybe once a week, a traveling salesman to sell us a giant sign outside stopped by. So you want to put like a big vertical sign up. It would be like 4,500 lighted. Again, you've got to be very careful how you spend money. That might work great, but you can't just keep spending money over and over again. And then Kim, who works in the store, had an idea of, hey, why don't we put a giant painted liquor sign on the outside vertically? I'm like, that is a fantastic idea. All right, so now we're going to talk about some of the numbers here real quick as well. Usually I have my window closed behind me, but it's snowing in Colorado, so I thought I would share that with everybody. Again, and March is actually one of our snowiest months. So, Main Street Market, and liquor, that's what we call it. Bought it for $605,000. That's a building, everything, businesses and all that. So right now, the rent for the market and liquor store is $2,700 a month. So I rent it for myself. Ooh. And pay the business. So I have one business for the liquor store, mini mart, one business that owns the building, to keep them separate. That's something the previous owner didn't do, so she had to sell them all together, whereas I can sell them separately if I want to. The upstairs, let's see, we'll just call them number 1 is 700. Number 2 is like 550. Number 3 is 1100, I believe. And all of these are kind of under market. So that's something to think about here too. But one of those, we have someone who works at the store live there, so we gave them a break. Super awesome help at the store. One person was already there. We charged them a little less, so we didn't have to re-rent it. And one had a lease at that rate already, so we didn't change that. All right, so if we add up all of these, we get 5,050. I was right. So, and we've talked about cap rates before and how to value buildings with cap rates. And I've just been doing gross because it's so much easier. And really, if I look at the MLS, I look at LoopNet, I look at different properties selling on cap rate, they tend to value them on gross too because people are too lazy to do net. So the difference is gross is everything, right? Your total rent here is where you base your cap rate off. Net is if you deduct all the expenses, the utilities, the management, the taxes, the insurance, all of that. So net is actually much more accurate, but people aren't using it. So I've been lazy too. And it's much easier for me this way. And so the difference is, so 5,050 to figure the cap rate on a building, you want the yearly rent. So that's our yearly rent right now. Now, if I was doing a net cap rate, I would probably divide this by 0.055%. That's a 5.5 cap rate is pretty similar. Maybe even, we'll say 6 in this area. It's a small town. Maybe not quite as enticing to investors. That would make this property worth $1 million. That's without the business. But that's our net one. So make sure I have that 60,600. If we're going to do the gross cap rate, that cap rate is higher because you're not including all the expenses. So if I was in a closer to Greeley, it'd probably be like a 7 gross. Up there, we'll be conservative and say it's an 8 gross. So we divide it by 8%, and that kind of tells us right now at current rents, the building is probably worth close to $750,000 if I were to sell just the building. So that's pretty cool to see. We're going to say that right here, building value, $750,000. Now the businesses, that's trickier. Valuing businesses can be very difficult, especially cash businesses, because a lot of times people don't keep track of the cash. We are. I am keeping track of it, reporting it all. A lot of times you don't see that in other businesses. But a lot of times you'll see maybe 3 times the profit is a good idea, plus inventory for valuing a business, sometimes 2 times, sometimes more, just depends on the type of business, if there's room to grow that profit. So right now, like I said, we're trying to get the Clover system implemented so we know exactly what that profit will be. Right now it's not exact. So we're kind of guessing, but our sales keep going up. We've had lots of $2,000 revenue days. That's really good. That's more than I thought the store would bring in when I bought it, according to the previous owner. We have margins, we have expenses, we're paying rent, we're paying utilities, so we're paying staff, but it is making money. So that's good. So how much it's making is difficult to say, but if it's making $100 a day, you're making $36,000 a year. It's making more than that. So, I mean, a good goal, I think, would be to make like $500 a day, which I think is actually doable, which is crazy considering I basically got this business for free. Now it takes some work, some more tweaking, some price changes, actually getting Pepsi to, bring us all our stuff. I think we can do that. Now, conservatively, right now, let's say it's $250 a day that we're making. 365. So if we wanted to, times 365. So if we're making, we'll just say $100,000 a year, which is still kind of crazy, but I think this store is probably close to that right now. When we get stuff dialed in, we'll know. If you divide that by, or multiply it by 3, that means the business is worth $300,000 plus inventory. So I paid $59,000 for the inventory that's there now. We have way more inventory in the store. How much? 60,000, around that area, I would say. So if we just kind of do that range, and if we're even conservative, here, this is bothering me. There we go. And say the business is worth $200,000 plus inventory of 60,000. We'll be super conservative. That's 260,000. That means, you know, we've got a property and businesses that are worth over $1 million. I think that was what it was, right? Oh, I can't type. There it is. Oh, nope, I was wrong. Okay. Over $1 million, and we bought it for $605,000. So that's why I love real estate, and also businesses too, because you can add value to them. You can make them worth more money. Simply, if they would have reported all of their income, had really accurate numbers, had the business separate from the building, they probably could have sold both of them close to this much without doing anything different. Maybe a little bit less. So if you're going to start a business, if you're going to have a building, own everything, try to separate them if you can. The only question about that is there are SBA small business loans, government loans that you can get for owner-occupied businesses. If you occupy 50% or more of the property you own, you can get 30-year fixed rate loans. It's really cool. I don't know for sure if those would require the business and building name to be the same. That's the only question there. I don't know if they would, but that's just pure speculation on the only reason you would want to have stuff together. But again, I don't even know if that's right or not. So separating them out can be so much more beneficial and make it so much more valuable. And like I said, we're buying another business here coming up soon. It is in the same boat, and we'll have much more information on that as well. It's in the same town as my bar and completely related to the bar. So we'll have information on that very, very soon. And that's really exciting and changes a lot of things about our plans there. So we'll talk about that coming up in another video. Thank you guys for watching. Love all the support, comments, shares. Keep those coming. Love it when you like the videos. If you haven't done that yet, love it if you do that. And then love the comments. Tell us what you think of this business. If you have ideas, we'll have much more on the store coming up here too. Hopefully get Clover dialed in and really look at the numbers, the sales numbers, the profit numbers, all of that, our inventory, and then really start to tweak things in a good way. All right, we'll be back with much more. Thanks a lot. Hope you guys like the videos because there's a lot more coming.